And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another movie review, and today, I know this is maybe a little bit past the time of year that we probably should be seeing this one, but on Christmas Eve, we did, every year on Christmas Eve, we always watch A Christmas Story. I've done a review on A Christmas Story already if you want to see that. But a new movie came out that we decided to watch this year after watching A Christmas Story, and it's A Christmas Story Christmas. I think it was actually released in 2022, but it is a sequel to A Christmas Story, taking place in, I believe, the 1970s, maybe the 80s, but I think it's the 70s, actually. Which I guess the first one was set in the 40s or the 50s. So I guess even though this one's, their timing thing is so weird, it doesn't even really work. I don't know. But you know, everybody's got their thoughts on A Christmas Story. Some love it, most hate it because it's just overplayed too much, stuff like that. But this one's a little bit more of an updated take. You know, Randy and Ralphie are all grown up, and you know what has happened to them, and you know what's the new storyline and everything that goes on. I don't want to spoil too much of the movie, though I guess I will. I mean, the father's gone, and the reason why the father's gone is because the actor died. A long time ago. He died in 2005, I believe. So they couldn't bring him back because he's not around anymore. But they did that well, and that's a big focal point throughout the entire film. Ralphie's also got a writing career that he's working on, and then we get to see a lot of nostalgic moments as well during the movie. So it's all really good stuff. But you know, I watched this for the first time. I thought about possibly delaying this review and then putting it up on Christmas time next year, but it doesn't really matter that much to me. I still got some thoughts on it though, so let's jump right into it, shall we? So I thought in this movie they didn't do as good of a job portraying the time period as in the first movie. The first movie was filmed and released in the 80s, but was set in like the 40s, 50s time, I think it was. They did a really good job of portraying it as such. This movie is filmed and came out in 2022 and is set in like the 70s. I didn't think they did as good of a job of it. And it really came down to like the camera quality, the lighting, and all of the aesthetics from the first movie that made that work. This one doesn't really have that. Of course, they do a lot of cool set pieces, and they don't do a terrible job with it. Just not as convincing of a job is what I'll say. But I still think they did a fair amount of job. There's a lot of new characters in this movie. Of course, Ralphie's back, the mom's back, Randy's back for a little bit. They didn't do as much of Randy as I thought they would do, and really as much as I think they could have done. They kind of just like, I feel like what really happened is they just didn't know where to put him in, so they just threw him in at the very end and also like a little bit in the middle of the movie to just do some explaining, and just like, there's that. I know he wasn't like, I don't know, it just would have been maybe a little bit more interesting to see him in a movie, but I don't really care that much, to be honest. But the other one, the new characters, like Ralphie's wife and the children, and the, like, siblings or, like, children of people from the first movie, and also, like, Ralphie's friends are in this movie as well. So, I think they all work pretty well together, and I think they blend, the new ones and the old ones do blend together well, which is nice. So, and like I said before, a lot of the charm from the first movie just does not transfer over. It does seem like there's just a lot of petty conflict that was just kind of like forced into the script writing for this movie. And there's just a lot of things that aren't really well established that don't necessarily need to be there. and they drive the point of trying to live up to the old man's way of doing Christmas so heavily. But in the first movie, that really was not a huge focal point. Like, yeah, he didn't hate Christmas, but like, it was not driven home very well in that movie that he was like this huge Christmas fanatic. That was never really written into the character development in A Christmas Story. So why is it such a big drive here? I that's just something I was pretty curious with, to me. But and then of course the whole thing with the writing career, and yeah, that's cool, and they do fine with that. And they work them together at the end pretty good and blend it well. There's a lot of nostalgic moments as well that they rely on, and stuff like that. So that's good too. But just some of the stuff just didn't transfer over really well, and some of the new stuff didn't really stick. But it's not like it was done terribly. It was just okay. You know what I'm saying? It was just fine, I should say. Yeah. If you saw my Aquaman review, I kind of have the same overall like feelings about this movie as I do Aquaman. Of course, they're two very different movies, but good but not great. It's a sequel. Christmas Story didn't really need a sequel, but money calls, and so you gotta make one. But hence you see why that movie didn't really need a sequel, because it wasn't set up for one. It didn't need one. You could have had a reunion show and called it good. That's what you need. So, anyways, my final score for A Christmas Story Christmas, I'm going to have to give it a good. Again, I'm going to give it a 6. That's literally the best I can do for a review is a 6. Yeah, it's good, but not great. So, that's going to do it for this review, though. If you've ever seen A Christmas Story Christmas, I'd love to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. How does it compare to the first movie? Does it do a good job? What are your thoughts about it? And that's going to do it for this video as well, so stay tuned for much more amazing content, including more movie reviews and other awesome stuff. Till next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.